Good evening.
Evening, Jim.
Hello, everyone.
Evening all.
Hello, Marty. You need to unmute.
Hello.
Hadn't talked to you in a while. How you been?
Right, check your email.
I did. Oh my gosh. My birthday's May 4th.
Oh, okay.
God, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I gotta win the lottery.
I know, right?
Yeah. It was just incredible.
Bob says, well, that should sell. He's
You
changed his
think?
tune. He's changed his tune. Before it was, oh, you're gonna sell that?
Y'all may not know what we're talking about, but Marty just finished a painting and it is absolutely stunning. She's going to be showing it at the all night deal.
Oh, art all night this weekend.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Nice.
let's see. Maybe I can share it.
Oh yeah, see if you can put it up because it is, the detail on it is just amazing, and tell them what the name of it is too.
It's called Gears of Thought. Not real sure how to say. Oh, let me see. Guess if I put it in my email and then bring it up.
You could probably share screen when Brian gets on.
Well, I have to put it on this other computer so I can share.
Oh, okay.
If I wasn't on, you guys wouldn't be talking to each other.
I know.
You know, if you want, I could probably share it.
Doesn't matter. Whatever. I'm sending it to myself. All right. Let me go here. And put it. Well. Image.
Was that a cat's tail?
Yeah. It's Shelby.
Hmm. Yeah, I caught the tail end of it. John, I hadn't seen you for a while. How you been doing?
There.
Oh, I've been doing, kind of taking it a day at a time.
Yeah, I know that.
See if I can open this. Oh, there we go. All right, share screen. And why do I have 15 of them? All right, did it show up?
Yep, it showed up. She just finished painting that today.
Wow.
Wow,
I know.
that is wicked cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah. How big is it?
36 by 36.
Okay.
Wow.
What's your medium?
It's acrylic and modeling paste.
Wow.
So it's a textured painting.
Well, I hope
Cool.
that sells. That's pretty badass. Are you selling it or you're just showing it?
No, I'm selling it.
Okay. Dang, that's pretty sweet.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
really nice, really nice.
Yeah.
Really neat.
Thank you.
So
I told
Marty,
her if she doesn't sell it, make sure she sells it in, I mean, to show it in one of the jury shows that are coming up.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The big jury show, you know, maybe Latrobe, or if there's another one in
Yeah, and can make
Pittsburgh or
some
whatever.
prints of it, if anything.
Yeah.
I was
Nice.
gonna do a 4x4, but it wouldn't fit in my Jeep, so.
I had the Subaru. All you had to do is say, Margie.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have the van, it would fit in the van, but I had my Jeep at the time when I went down to my studio to pick up the thing, and it's like, okay, for my first one, I'll just do a smaller one.
It's still a nice size though,
It is.
but the
Marty,
details. Uh,
Yes.
Marty, if you sell it, make sure you sell it for at least enough to get your change back.
Oh, yeah, it has a pretty nice price tag on it.
yeah, not enough.
Probably not. I was gonna put more, but my husband goes, really? That much for it? But now he says, oh, I think it'll sell. So
Well, what do you putting the tag at it? What are you pricing it
I
at?
put 1,000 on it.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
At
I-
least.
That
yeah.
size, yeah.
I've
Mhm.
been working on it for over a week, so
Yeah, that's pretty I could probably say probably get more for that considering the size.
yeah, I was gonna put 15, but
Yeah.
I said,
At
well,
least. Yeah.
it's like,
it's beautiful.
thank you.
I have to ask, like, so first, what's the title? And then also, like, what
What's
am I
the
looking
thought? Okay, so it's called Gears of Thought. And I wasn't sure where I was going with it at the beginning. So I had the that little doodle in the front. I don't know what it, like the little top of a heart-shaped thing, I guess we'll call it.
Stem looking one. Yes.
Yeah, the roadway.
There you go.
Through there. And then I put the texture at the upper, like in the middle going up to the corner, and then I put the dots. And then I had gears and I just put those on. And at first it was like, what do I do with this? And it was like that coppery color. And I really liked it coppery, but it wasn't going to stay that color, I know. And then I saw a video where they did like an made it look like copper was corroded and decayed, or a decay issue. So I thought, oh, that looks kind of cool. So I did that. So that's what the blue and the green, like stripy stuff in the back is. And then I just started working on it. And then all of a sudden it was like that left side where the cobweb is like, well, what do I do with that? Because it looks just plain and it looks stupid. And I'm thinking, and it's like, okay. At that point, I put my registration in and I did call it Gears of Thought. And it was like, okay. So with my concussion, there's cobwebs in there and there's fog in there and my gears are everywhere. And I just explode sometimes. That's where it went.
I like it.
Interesting story.
So it's the cobwebs in my brain and the fog's down in the bottom right corner, and then my gears are just everywhere. And then I have that explosion type thing of the bubbles. I don't know, it was silly, but it just kind of took its own path.
I think it's great. And I thought it was a great name for it too, because everybody's mind is a little bit off.
And then at first, when I first did it, it's like, oh, it's gonna look like a tree. Because and then I had those dots and it was just in plaster and I said, oh, it looks like a tree. I'm trying to not do a tree. It's so hard for me not to do trees. So I had to like really work hard to make it not look like a tree. And this is what happened. So I just finished it like an hour ago. Yeah. So the last 2 days I put 8 hours in on it at least. So,
You're gonna sign it, aren't you?
I am. But I wasn't sure if I liked the silver web in that because there's no silver anywhere else.
I like everything about it.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, webs aren't like black or anything, so we'll just leave it silver. It stands out.
Yeah,
It
Mhm.
makes your eye go up to the bubbles.
yes, it does.
Yeah.
I love creative stuff like this. Just love it.
So now y'all know why my brain does those wacky things with my kaleidoscope photos.
God, I
and
wish
stuff.
my brain would do wacky things like that.
You know, Marty, they're having a juried exhibition in Latrobe, I think in June or July, Fred Rogers and all that. You should enter that.
Okay.
Mm.
Seriously,
If it
I think
doesn't
it's
sell.
unique.
If
What?
it doesn't sell.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's unique. I mean, that's the thing. It's
Mhm.
unique. It's different from
Mhm.
standard things we see.
Yes.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
like abstract stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's imaginative, and I think I would put it up for juried selection.
Yep.
Thanks.
I told her if she doesn't sell it, she's got to do it. She don't have a choice. I'll be over there getting it. to put it in. Yeah,
So,
it's just really
all right.
wonderful.
So I guess I'll stop sharing now. Everybody's had a chance to look.
Thank you.
You're
Nice
welcome.
going.
Is it gone?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
gone.
Thank you, Marty. Very cool.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, guys. I guess we could get started with the meeting then. I don't really have anything as far as business or anything like that goes tonight. Is there anything coming up that we need to speak about?
Well, the editor for the newsletter made a big boo-boo and put her Station Saturday on a walk day. I apologize. I cannot do the Station Saturday so everybody can go to the walk instead. I can postpone it.
Yeah, I was just saying you want to reschedule it, Marty?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. That works for me. Does
I'll
that work
have
for you
to-
guys?
Yep. Sure.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I was gonna do this at the end, but I think like everybody that's on here comes to talk about. Would you rather do like talk about and then do like a station at talk about? Would that help with people like playing with their cameras during the talk about thing? What's your feedback there?
I think it's gonna be kind of crowded.
I don't, I disagree with you, Carl. I think it's a great idea. Sometimes the talk about it's only got like 4 people. Other times we may have 8 people, and that room is big enough for everything. And by having it there at the same time, talk about it is, of course, we'll probably be eating some of us will not be eaten. But you also have the pictures, people can be looking at any photos that are brought in to be critiqued or new items that they have received. And then if we had the station on top of it all, people could be looking at those new items or pictures, and other people could be doing the station that Marty puts on at that time. And it will actually get rid of one of the meetings, because right now we have 2 Zoom meetings. We have the photo op meeting and the Lightroom / Photoshop meeting and talk about meeting. And you know, this way it will condense it a little bit more. And I think that we'll get more people to show up to these events, talk about / station. It would be fun because there's time we just sit there and just, you know, do nothing. So I think it's a great idea.
Excuse me, but I was referring to the time it would take, because you got setup and you got tear down, which is going to extend the meeting, I think, considerably. As opposed to on a Saturday afternoon where everything is a heck of a lot more casual because there's no time constraints.
Well, you won't really have.
I'm open for discussion. So we have one yay and one nay.
Right, and Annie likes the idea too.
Actually, I support that on having a talk about during that time, because
Station?
Thursday, yeah, having the station on the Thursday, because that gives a theme for the meeting too. Unless, but I do agree that there'll be some setup time, just like last time, first 15 minutes, things were still being set up and all that. So maybe the people who's running the station that day may have to come 15, 20 minutes earlier to start it off.
I usually come earlier. This last one I was a little late, but I try to get there early.
And we
Because,
usually order at that time too,
Because the great service we have at IHOP, they never have us ready. So
Yeah.
I think
Trying
I'm
to
still
get
waiting
there
on the
to-
food that, Marty, I think I'm still waiting on the food that I ordered at the Photoshop class.
I'm sure you are. Because I have to
Um,
set up the tables and make sure everybody has their menu, and so
Yeah. As far as combining the two, I don't see any issue with that. And for me, I like the idea of it because it gives me a better opportunity to actually make it to a station, because Saturdays are nearly impossible for me to do.
all right.
But if you're doing that as part of, if you're doing as part of the talk about, I have a better chance of making that. Not always, but I have a better chance of making that myself.
Right. All right. Any others? Thoughts? Concerns?
I would maybe switch it up from time to time and add that into the talk about, not make it every talk about.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Give it a try, see how it goes.
Yeah.
that
Because,
sort of thing. I know I can't do Thursdays other than like June, July, August if I'm not off somewhere.
Yeah, I don't
Other
know,
than
'cause
just in my own mind,
the-
like usual.
How about this? Maybe like 1 month we'll do it at Talk About, and the next month we'll do it on a Saturday.
I'd try that.
Okay.
No, another advantage of moving it out on the Saturday and Thursday is that frees a Saturday for an outing day.
It does.
Yeah.
So
And, I'll take better watches. I'm not double booking myself.
Yeah.
So. This coming Saturday, no station, outing.
You want to come this?
Marty, I'm sorry, but it's not this Saturday. It's
Well, whatever, the 6th, whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever I made it.
Yeah, the
This
6th.
next Saturday.
All right.
Right, like-
With that being said, as to when stuff actually is, one of you guys made up a kind of a grid thing on or whatever that had all of the meetings, outings, everything like in it all at one time. It was a single
Mhm.
page, and you sent it out to us. I've lost mine. Could you guys, whoever did that, could you resend a copy of it to me? And
I'll
Marty,
find it and
if,
send it.
I know all the information is in the in the newsletter, but if you can take that actual grid one and throw it in the newsletter as well, I think that might help, because it's just, I can look at it and go, okay, April, here's the 4 things that are going on in April, right across the line, and then I don't have to look from page to page or look for emails and all that kind of stuff. If you could, I would appreciate it.
All right, Beth, did you make that?
I think so.
All right.
I can't remember.
I'm
I got
looking
one
at
from
my-
Jim. I think I got one from Beth, and I looked and looked and looked through all my emails, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm assuming that I accidentally deleted it.
Well, Brian, you didn't actually get one from me this year because at the meeting, Beth had offered to put that together.
Okay. Well, I know I got one from several different people. So,
All right.
uh, okay, cool.
I'll find it.
All right. How was the photo walk in Somerset?
It snowed.
You went.
Mhm.
It what?
It snowed a little bit.
It snowed?
was
Oh,
cold.
okay.
Just little tiny
Yeah.
since ice balls.
Mhm.
I don't know. I had a good time. I didn't mind the snow.
Mhm.
Oh, it was
Thanks,
good.
but
So are you telling us that if we schedule something next year in Somerset County, we should maybe wait for later in the year to do that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
So Brian, we did talk about you, if you will, at least one point during the photo walk. And that was after the walk itself was completed and we all went down and had some food at the Summit Diner.
Hmm.
Which I think most of us agreed was, the pricing was just ridiculously low. It was like they
Yeah.
were giving food away.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I'm on my way
And it
now.
was
I'll see you guys
tasty.
later. Um, Well,
have
I'll tell you what happened. You guys sent out the email, and for me, the email was way too early in the week. And I got up Sunday, and I thought, wow, cool. I don't have anything going on this Sunday. I can sleep in an extra 10 minutes. And I got up at about I don't know, 20 after 9. And I looked at my phone, and it said, "You have an event today in Somerset at 10 o'clock." And I'm like, well, no, I don't, because I ain't going, or no way I can make it at that period of time. So I may need a reminder the day before. Somebody just send me a text message and say, hey, there's an event tomorrow. Remind you.
You better put that reminder on your phone.
I have it on my phone. I have it show up on my watch. Yeah, so I was gonna I had planned to go, but like I said, it somehow it got away from me. So
Well, Brian, in all seriousness, do you use Google Calendar?
I use Apple.
Okay, because I
But
know
it's
in Google
connected.
Calendar,
I've
you
all,
can ask for alarms as far in front of the event as you would like.
yeah, I can
Apple
I
can
can
do
in
that.
Apple too. Yeah,
Yeah, Apple will do
Yeah.
that.
yeah, I have
You would
Apple. I have,
laugh at how many are in mine.
yeah, I have my calendar remind me of stuff, and then I have another thing called Things. That's an app on my computer and on my iPad and on my phone, and it reminds me of things. And then I have reminders that's built into Apple, and it reminds me of stuff, and I still don't remember to do stuff. So I'm not sure what the answer is. Maybe a text message on the event day about 3 hours ahead of time. That might be the answer. I don't know. All right. So how many people showed up?
There were 6 members and I'll say 2 guests. Nate and Pat were there.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And one
Cool.
of the members was a woman that I hadn't met before, and there's no way I'm even going to attempt to pronounce her last name, but her first name is Marie, and it's Polish.
Yeah, it's Scotchless. It's like saying Scotch less, so Scotchless.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's cool.
I believe she's at the in the club or in the Lightroom class.
Yeah, she'll be here.
Did she
She'll be
make it?
there the next class. She was out of town for the first one.
Okay, and so I remember a name something like that in one of the emails at some point. Okay, well, good. I'm glad y'all had a good time. Sorry I missed you. Okay.
We do need to remind everybody who is showing down at Latrobe that they need to pick up their pictures Friday and Saturday.
Thank you.
Can we pick them up tomorrow?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can pick them up, Dennis. I picked mine up already.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Well,
Who
hey,
can pick mine
Brian,
up?
speaking of photo walks, the next one is Saturday, May the 6th at Hospitality Spring Farm, which is just a few miles north of Bedford. Pat and I went there, I think it was 2 or 3 springs ago. They have public open houses. We're actually have the farm to ourselves, if you will, for the photo walk. But we were there almost exactly the same time of year. And what was really fun about the photography is there were baby chicks and baby ducks and baby pigs and baby goats and baby sheep and baby cows. It was just perfect time.
Cool.
You know, this is something we have not mentioned for a while, but carpooling. If y'all want to carpool to one of these events, especially if it's over by Bedford and etc., get with each other, fill up your car with each other and go, instead of each individual person having to drive there. We used to do that.
60 gallons. It was less, it was almost half full.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Dennis?
carpooling is not only convenient, but a lot of fun,
It is.
especially if you end up in a car with me and Margie.
Oh my God.
Or in Jim's case, a car following a car with
Oh
me and
my
Margie in
gosh.
it.
Not to be recommended.
Come on, Jim. You know that was a lot of fun.
You know it was. Might have taken us 3 hours to get where we wanted. Well, actually, it wasn't where we wanted to go.
No, not at all. It was a long drive to a dead end.
Another thing that was mentioned to talk about like a couple times is a trip out to Ohio.
Yep.
DL already went and didn't take anybody with him.
Well, he was waiting for you to get back with everybody.
Well, he just decided to do it on his own.
Yeah.
Is there anybody interested in going?
Yes.
Margie?
Margie,
Yes,
you
on a
might wanna-
yes on a Sunday.
Some people might not know what you're talking about.
Oh,
YM
well,
camera.
thank you. I couldn't remember the place's name. That's why.
We take a trip to YM camera, and then we go hang out at the afterwards at the not McConnell's Mills. What's the name of that mill in the park?
Uh-huh.
McConnell's Mill.
No,
No.
in Youngstown,
Mill Creek Park.
Mill Creek
Yeah.
Park.
Yeah.
So we make a day out of it. So we leave and go out to the camera store, spend everyone else's money.
Yeah, thanks.
And then we go hang out at the Mill Creek Park, and there's a big grist mill with a waterfall, covered bridge, flower gardens if it's summertime. It's quite a large park actually. And
There's also
spend a day.
There's also an eagle's nest within 15 minutes of there. You park on the road and it is like right there, and it's open. You can see it. It's crazy where they put it.
Yeah.
And they have eaglets right now too.
So it's a pretty cool trip actually. It makes a good day, photography day and stuff like that. So as I said, I would be interested in going as long as it's on a Sunday.
Oh, you and those Sundays.
Well, I'm sorry, I have to work on Saturdays.
I know.
And if I leave here on Saturday at 3 o'clock, by the time we get out there, the Youngstown's closed.
I know. No hard time.
Well, what day of the week are you still off? Wednesday?
I am off on Wednesday through the week, yes.
I mean, does it have to be a weekend? We've done it on odd days before.
Well, I mean, as far as I don't know what other people's work schedules are, or not working or working or whatever. So it don't matter to me, but
Any thoughts
Marty, I'll be open to go on a Saturday
on a Saturday
or a Wednesday.
or a Wednesday?
Beginning
I was thinking Wednesday, so I could go.
Yeah, Wednesday, I can make it.
All right. So Margie can do a Wednesday. Mary can do a Wednesday.
I can probably do a Wednesday. I don't think they have Pentax stuff though, so. So
No, they
I'm-
sell
I'm
used, they sell
slightly
used
safer.
stuff.
Oh, sure.
They have other things besides camera and lenses there. I mean, I picked up some great photography gloves. And a
Yeah,
camera.
in July.
Yes.
All right.
Well, she wouldn't need them in the winter because she doesn't leave her house then.
Oh,
That's true.
gosh, she's right.
So the next question, and I don't have my other calendar in front of me, so I don't know any when, like, what Wednesdays would be available for everybody.
Doesn't matter to me. I can do any Wednesday's good for me.
Okay.
I would have to know the date. Let me get my phone.
Well, I have to go get my calendar. Hold on.
I think it's May 10th or May 17th.
All right, I'm back. I have all Wednesdays in May open.
Me too. Except for the 3rd, but that's no big deal.
Okay, anybody else?
All I
Just
have
pick
on
one.
Wednesdays is soccer practice Wednesday nights.
How long does it take for Annie to let her job know? 2 weeks or a month or what?
I don't remember.
I don't either. Just in case, I would probably go like the 17th or the 24th, unless you want to do it in June, you know?
Why don't you find out from Annie and just send us an email and let us know what day it's going to be.
Yeah,
I was thinking the 24th, but
Okay.
yeah.
that gives me time for my painting to be sold, and then I'll have money.
Okay. I didn't have money and I still got stuck with buying stuff. Thank you very much, Ryan.
You're welcome. As I said, spend other people's money.
That's it. I couldn't get out of there for less than $1,000.
Oh. My painting really has to go up then.
All right. Anything else?
No, that was it. Thanks.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up before we get into the rest of the meeting? Jim, I have the feeling that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think I'll be able to post my Somerset photos tomorrow so you can see more of what we did.
Okay. I looked at the ones that were already posted. I looked at them today, so.
Yeah, they're nice.
Cool. Jim, I think that you have like the majority of the meeting this evening, don't you?
Well, with one exception, and that would be, is someone doing a tips and tricks?
Yeah, it's Carl.
Carl is doing tips and tricks as far as I know.
Yeah, he
I'll
is.
sign up for the client communication at the moment. I'm listening on the side.
I'm
What?
sorry, Carl, what was that?
I'm taking care of a client at the moment. I'm sitting here on the
Okay.
side.
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
available
Well,
shortly.
Can I interject for a moment? Can I interject, Brian, for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is that
Time's up.
but
You said a second.
I know. Well, give me 2 seconds. I
Okay.
posted on Reddit. Bushy Run Battlefield is having like a art with Henry, and it consists of painters. But this year they want to include some photography. So if you're interested in exhibiting some pieces of your photography, just let me know. I sent my email and kind of described it in the comments section of, it's called Art with Henry. It's just a one evening event, and there's no entry fee, small commission if your photograph is sold. And it's well attended. A lot of people do come, and they were impressed by the talent that we have in painters. So if you're interested, you could just come by and look at the paintings. And if you're interested in putting in a piece or two of your photography, just let me know. I put my email in the description on the comment. It's called Art and Wine with Henry.
What date
And
was
that's
that?
it.
What date was that? I'm
June
sorry.
2nd.
June 2nd. And when do you need, like, have to submit your stuff?
Well, you know what? It's just they set up the panel. So just, I'll get more information of the setup time, but you could
Okay.
just drop it off and I could help the volunteers put the photography on the panels.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Jim, I guess you are up with news and whatever else you're doing.
Yeah, the subject for tonight is, after I do the news or after Carl sneaks in, is the Topaz image quality products. But let me share my screen. Okay, we don't want that on yet. Okay, I assume you can see my screen.
Yes.
There. Okay, this first one, do any of you use the Canon R5?
Hello.
I use it.
Okay,
um,
so Dennis, apparently it's going to, if it hasn't already come out yet, there's going to be a firmware upgrade.
Yeah.
And what this would allow you to do, and whether they follow this up with other Canon products, I guess it depends on the processing capability. But it's going to use its image stabilization feature to what they call pixel shifting. So rather than Dennis, is it normally like a 40 megapixel shot?
Yep. 45.
Okay. So it's going to take multiple photos and basically stitch them all together in camera, if you will, to come up with a gigundous 400 megapixel photo. Now, why Dennis would need a 400 megapixel photo,
Yeah.
I'll let him decide. But it was interesting. I thought just the fact that it can be done, I guess. So Dennis, do you have any comments on this?
Well, it certainly is novel. And, if you read the message boards on Facebook, I mean, people go nuts over this kind of crap. But I'm not so sure that it's appropriate to call it megapixels. It's taking an image and shifting it from pixel to pixel, shifting across the pixels. And if you do in 1/10 pixel steps, you can interleave the data and get what appears to be a sharper photo. They say that's all predicated on the lens, in fact, being able to deliver an image fine enough where that matters. But I didn't. It's in the firmware, new firmware, but I haven't tried it. It's two things. Nothing can move while you make this measurement, and the result, I believe, is only in JPEG.
All right.
But it's novel.
Yep. And then in this article, it mentions that apparently at least some Sony cameras have something similar to this. So I know Bob and Suzanne, you're using some type of Sony cameras. Either of you aware of this feature?
No, I'm not. But it raises the question of how many megapixels do you really need to make a good photograph? I mean,
Right.
yeah, I think you could get by with 24, certainly 42. But again, I think 400 megapixels, that's a lot, which I'm not sure it's needed. But the
Yeah.
question is, again, how many megapixels can your camera, is it justifiable to purchase an expensive camera for more megapixels? when 21 may do and all.
It wouldn't apply to mine because I don't have a mirrorless camera. So I just have the, last DSLR that Sony made.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't want a 400 megapixel anyhow. I have enough trouble with what I have.
yeah, me too.
All right.
But it's nice discussion topic.
Yep. So this next one is a Canon feature as well, and this is on the R3. And I thought this was kind of interesting, although, and maybe Rebecca would be interested in this. You can program, if you will, specific faces into the camera so that if that person happens to be in a group shot, it says, aha, I remember this face and I'm going to focus on them. So apparently, and maybe there's other applications, but the obvious one is a wedding photographer making use of a feature like this, so that it would, if a bride or a groom or the mother of the bride happened to be in the photo, it would know these are important people and do the autofocus. So this is available as a firmware update as well. Rebecca, what are you using?
The Canon R6, and I like the fact that it focuses on eyeballs and tracks them, and I'm good with that. I don't need faces.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe you'll get that feature sometime. All right. Pentax. So, Beth, and others can obviously come in on this. I'm curious, they apparently just recently came out with this K-3 III, and it is a monochrome DSLR camera. And at least in the article, it's not like it's just meant for good black and white. It's exclusively black and white. So would there be some advantage to this? And I guess I'm directing the question to Beth simply because I believe you have Pentax, but to anybody, why would you want a strictly monochrome camera?
There are a lot of people who just shoot monochrome. Leica makes a monochrome camera like this. And I mean, a lot of people buy Leica just because it's Leica. But what I noticed in the caption there is that they sold out of their Japanese allocation of them. And yes. I seem to remember that people in Japan are more likely to do sort of the retro black and white kind of stuff. They sell more film there than they do here too.
Well, so I guess the one thing, unless it has a way around this issue, and Dennis has showed us several times on how he processes black and white, but the advantage of shooting in color and then converting to black and white is having the ability to independently adjust the various colors that are available in your photo. So I would assume if you're shooting just plain monochrome that you lose that capability.
I think you'd still be able to adjust the contrast and lights and darks and levels and all the same stuff that I can in the darkroom with black and white film. So it's, I mean, you can still polish the photo.
Still seems like you're going backwards in time.
Remember, guys, we used to only shoot in black and white.
I know that you said that.
Color pictures is just a fad. It's going to go away eventually. That's what they said back then. So
yeah,
maybe color pictures is a fad and it is going away, and we're going back to black and white. I don't know, but would there be an advantage to a camera if it's designed correctly? I would say there would be an advantage to a camera that is designed to photograph in black and white.
Yeah, I would say it's similar to like I had my old Canon 10D. I converted it to infrared. Only it's color infrared, and I love it. And I see it's kind of being very similar idea.
Yeah, I have a Nikon D100 that I converted to infrared, and that's what it's for. It does infrared photography, but it does it a hell of a lot better than me switching something to infrared.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
it will.
I guess
So-
the black and white camera could have the built-in, if you will, filters that like the red, yellow, and green, and maybe others are available as well to get certain effects in camera.
Yeah.
But I think you give those up. You don't have the red, green, blue information anymore.
Yeah, but Dennis, when we shot black and white, we used an orange filter, a red filter.
No,
a
you
blue
still
filter.
you can still do that.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, not the same as taking a color, red, green, blue image and adjusting blue to red or green to blue. And you know, there are people swear by that, like it. I mean, for 6th grade.
No.
It makes it more challenging, I think,
Yeah.
but you know, that's some people like that. I still shoot black and white films sometimes. Actually, more black and white film than color film.
Okay, well, interesting.
How much is that camera going for? You know, Jim?
I don't know if normally they put the price down at the bottom here. Pre-order in the US, $2,200.
It's pretty cheap.
Okay. Off and on over the last year or two, we've been talking about how smartphone camera technology keeps on improving and improving. And to be honest, when I first saw the title of this article, I thought, wow, they're finally going to match what's available in the cameras that you and I use. And this is a little bit deceiving in that it says variable aperture. It's not variable aperture. The main lens in the camera has two apertures. So it is variable, but it's only variable between two. And they're the one lens is f1.9 and the other is f4. But it's interesting that at least they're starting to go in that direction. Okay, I think that's it on that one. Okay, we've been talking about AI and photo contests previously. This artist won first prize at a photo contest, and it was the, where does it say it here? The World Photography Organization Sony World Photography Awards. And he won the contest. He created this photo using artificial intelligence. And after he won, he basically informed the contest sponsors that he had actually made that photograph using AI and turned down the prize. And there was, it's probably somewhere in here, it was a significant prize for winning the contest. But he actually did it kind of with the intention of almost kind of attempting to fool the judges. And this reminds me all of a sudden, I didn't think about this before, but Bob DeJesus tried to fool us back a month or two ago, if you will, with some AI generated photos. So in this case, the guy actually won first prize and then kind of turned himself in. But just another example of where organizations that are sponsoring photo contests need to start having a separate creative category for AI generated images.
Did he get reprimanded, Jim?
Not like you did, no.
On that note, Photoshop, Adobe has Firefly, and they're going in this direction as well, prompt generated photography. So it's included in the subscription. It's in the beta form, but it's still in the beta form. But again, it's getting good. I mean, and it's this is not photography. This is just prompt generation of pictures. So I don't think they could label this as photography.
Yeah. It's not in this article, but I'm looking at the woman's hands there. Apparently, the one thing that AI image generation hasn't got quite right yet is the number of digits on a human's hand.
Yeah.
And apparently, a lot of the images that are being generated end up with 4 or 3 digits, if you will, on a hand.
Yeah. I mean, but they are perfecting it to a degree that's going to be very hard to know whether it's real or it's AI generated.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Okay, so this next one is going to be kind of a contest with no prize money involved. But if you already know the answer, I would appreciate it. You just keep it to yourself and let people who are unaware of this thing see if there's any issues figuring it out. So again, if you know the answer, just don't say anything. What do you think about, is this an AI generated image? Is it a real photograph? If it's a real photograph, how could that be?
That looks like something I do by accident.
Yeah.
I've seen this. Once you know what it is, you can't unsee it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Nobody's going to take a guess other than Suzanne admitting that she's done this already on her own.
I think it's a real photograph.
Mhm.
Say again, Dennis?
I think it's a real photograph.
It is, and it is a real photograph. The question is, can you explain it? How is it real?
Well, there's on the upper right-hand quadrant is a building or a wall that it's reflected in the foreground
Yeah.
from the wall.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
left side of the wall is where the blue water is.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Dennis. It is a wall there, is how it's described in the article. When I first saw it, it was like I could not figure it out on my own until I read the article itself. And
When I
I
first
think
saw it,
the
I thought it was-
reason is the fact that the reflection is, it's just a perfectly straight line down through here. That's what kind of throws you. Okay, Dennis wins the prize. Okay, this next one, Margie, you there?
Yep.
Okay, this one's specially for you, Margie.
Uh-oh.
This is the winners of this is the German Society for Nature Photography, their photography of the year, some of the winners. And Margie, you will be happy to know that the overall winner is.
Yeah, Beth.
So there you go. You got your
I got my
bars
telephone
and
lines.
pole and
Yep.
whatever type of eagle-like or hawk-like bird that is.
I love the title.
What's the title?
Yeah.
Scenes of a Marriage.
Yep.
How many years of marriage? They don't
Yeah.
mention.
I like that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Didn't take many in my case.
What
So anyway,
perspective? I mean, it looks like the pole. I mean, they were looking right. I mean, that pole is kind of straight on, like a flat. It wasn't
Yeah.
at an angle. It doesn't look like an angle.
Well, I'm not, what's your point, Bob?
It's just that was the photographer elevated to take this photograph because it looks like right on point and all that. Like it's he's right at eye level with the birds.
He might have been on the adjacent pole. I really don't know.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But they don't mention how many years, huh?
No. So we'll just go down through quickly through the other winners. This photo could have been taken by either Linda or Suzanne, I suspect, from the nice bird photos that they've been posting lately.
No, that one's much better.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautifully done. It really is nice. So, Bob, following up on your question, you might want to know where the photographer is standing for this one.
Hopefully far away.
That's pretty cool. And I assume this is intentional camera movement, as opposed to being a painting, which it certainly looks like.
Pretty cool.
I'm into that stuff right there is what I'm doing. Both camera movement and out of focus.
Yeah,
So you can just see,
yeah,
just really see it. I'm into that right now.
yeah. That's a nice effect.
And yeah, I like that. Well, you wouldn't catch me there.
That's moody. This one for me is hard to figure out. I mean, obviously the moth is there and prominent. On the way to hell.
That's very common to be a winner.
This wasn't impressed me a whole lot, to be honest with you. And I think if it was doing one of our critiques, that a lot of it say, why don't you crop that photo
That's
about
exactly
halfway through?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
This just seems like a complete and total waste to me.
Well, it looks like bark on a tree right there.
It says it's a double exposure.
So maybe that's.
So yeah, you're
Oh.
right. That is bark at the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah, that is bark at the
okay,
bottom. No
all right.
wonder.
So that makes sense, but I probably would have preferred the bark to have
Yeah.
less amount of photo, but
Yeah, I still
Oh,
don't
well.
like it.
yeah. Okay, it's different. A month or two ago, we mentioned that DPR Review was going out of business. Amazon was shutting it down. And there was a concern that all of their archive materials were going to disappear by a certain date. Apparently, there was enough objections to that criticism that apparently they're going to find a way to archive their previously generated camera lens reviews and other articles that they've done. So I think that's being worked on as we speak, if you will. This next one, I'm going to suggest, I'll put the link to this in the chat along with links to the other articles. But again, this is a discussion about AI generated photographs, and this guy's take on it is, and he's showing these two obvious people, one with a laptop and the other with a smartphone that would not have had them. That, you know, today we look at that and we say, well, that's obviously not true. But with photographs like this becoming more and more generated, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, will people realize that that photo is not real? So anyway, it kind of just talks about that aspect of AI images. So that's it for the news. Carl, are you available now?
Yep.
Okay, I will stop sharing.
Okay.
Thank you,
Tips and
Jim.
tricks. Those of you that aren't aware, Greensburg is having an art walk on Saturday. From one time to another time. Set for 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday at various venues throughout the downtown area. Arts and art in the alley, cultural Tourist Incubator, Westmoreland Museum of American Art, and Seton Hills Art Center and Performing Arts Center. I first heard about this through where we went for the show on Main Street, Stopwatch Gallery. So it evidently is being spread throughout the art industry. Nothing in particular to photography was mentioned that I ran across. That's a tip. Secondly, I've been playing with light meters and am finding some future applications with digital photography. Can't explain it yet because I haven't figured it all out, but I'm sure many of you have heard of the zone system. I found was a light meter that has the, you can't see it too well, but down here along the bottom, the zone system is built in to the light meter. And I do believe this has a lot of practical advantages to digital photography. I just haven't figured out what all they're going to be yet. Now, these two Gaussian light meters that I've become very impressed with. One is a Luna Pro SBC, and the one I held up to a light was a Luna Lux SBC. The Luna Lux is more digital than the Luna Pro, but the Luna Lux has the zone system built in, so we're going to see what's happening there, and I'm checking them both out with several other light meters that I've managed to acquire while I was collecting the other junk I own. I had another one, but I've lost contact with my screen. This is embarrassing. Well, I don't know where it went, so I'll jump back in whenever I remember what the devil I had set up. I lost the screen when we were moving back and forth earlier. Okay, so that's tips and tricks so far for this evening. Signing out, back to you, Jim, since you had the hot seat, the last floor, whatever.
Okay.
I'm dumping it on you again.
Thanks, Carl. And by the way, Pat and I have gone to the Greensburg Art Walk. It's been going on now for at least a few years, and it is a nice event to go to. We're going to be out of town this weekend, so it won't be there on Saturday, but it is worth attending. Thanks, Carl.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Carl.
My pleasure.
Okay.
I shut this screen down.
Okay, so I'm going to eventually get to the software programs themselves, but just as way of introduction, Topaz up until sometime late last year had 3 separate programs that were AI based. The first was called Gigapixel AI, and here you could upscale images up to 600%. And as they would say, preserving image quality, texture, and detail. And even though tonight's presentation is primarily on photo AI, I am going to do just a couple of examples of these other programs in the course of that discussion. The second one is denoise AI, and it obviously reduces the noise in an image. And I'll take a step back here. Those of you who are using Lightroom and Photoshop are probably aware by now that both programs within the last week or so have added a AI-based denoise tool that's available to use. And I have seen some online YouTube videos, and from what I understand is a lot of people seem to believe that the Lightroom Photoshop denoise AI is just as good as the Topaz denoise, which is, I think, kind of been the industry standard for the last couple of years. So it may be that at least the denoise aspect of this will be something that those of you who are using Lightroom and Photoshop really won't need to use going forward.
I've tried it, Jim. It is impressive in Lightroom Classic. So
Okay.
it's pretty good. And I also have Topaz, and it's kind of comparable. It depends on your workflow, how you do it and all that. But
Yeah.
the Lightroom version is really good.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And then the third program is Sharpen AI. And I think I've actually, maybe somewhere in the last year or so, showed some examples of its ability, which is pretty amazing. The problem with using those three programs, if you will, is that if you happen to have a photo that needed all three, you had to start in my case, it was Capture One. If it was your case, it would be Lightroom or whatever other program you're using. And one by one, you would have to export, if you will, or yeah, your image. And let's say you started with gigapixel to upscale it. It would come back as a TIFF file. Then you would have to send that TIFF file to Denoise AI to get rid of the noise, and it would send it back as a TIFF. And then you would have to send that TIFF over to Sharpen AI to take care of the sharpening. And then it would come back to your base editing program, and then you could do whatever you would want with it. So it was a little bit on a tedious side to actually use the Topaz products if you needed more than one of them to take care of the particular image. And I'm sure Topaz must have heard a lot of users say, boy, wouldn't it be nice if we could put all of those features into one program? So sometime late last year, they came out with Photo AI, and it basically combines all the features in the gigapixel, denoise, and Sharpen AI into one package. And what's kind of interesting about the Photo AI, if you put it on purely automatic, and they call it autopilot, it'll take a look at the image that you send over to it and decide, does it need upscaled? Does it need denoised? Does it need sharpened? And it'll do 1, 2, or 3 of those steps for you based on its interpretation of the image that you sent it. And then, of course, you have the capability to override what it wanted to do with your photo if you so choose to do that. So what's the difference? I guess I've already kind of described the slide. The 3 previous programs, well, they're still available, but the gigapixel, the denoise, and the sharpen, they have, all 3 of them have numerous models and tools that are available to kind of optimize the performance. You can set them on auto, but if you don't like what you see, there's other models available for you to choose from, and you can adjust the settings on the particular model that it does select for you to kind of get what you want out of the image. Compared to Photo AI, which is much more simpler to use, but by the same token, there's not as many tools available to adjust its performance like you get in the 3 individual programs. But what is nice, as I mentioned before, is the file transfer needed to perform all 3 functions. And the red note there in the slide is Photo AI probably will eventually replace the 3 standalone apps sometime in the near future. If you would look at, I have all of these apps back probably for like the last 2 years or so. And it wasn't unusual for the individual apps to get an upgrade of some sort, maybe once every 3 or 4 months or so while I was using the products. In the case of Photo AI, for the last, well, since the beginning of the year, now this could be either a good feature or a bad feature, but just to show you where Topaz is putting all of their development work is in Photo AI. It's literally, and I'm not exaggerating, it's almost an update a week is what I've been getting from them for Photo AI. So if you would have asked me like 4 months ago, what do I think about it? Well, it seems okay. There's some issues here or there, but literally every week they keep on not just fixing bugs, although obviously some of them are bug fixes, but they've been adding features to make Photo AI feel a little bit more like the gigapixel noise and the sharp all wrapped up into one program. And so what do they cost? You can read those for yourself. The image bundle with the 3 standalone apps was as of earlier this month, was on sale for $200, which is the regular pricing for Photo AI. And Topaz, for all their products, occasionally have sales during the year. So if you're intent on buying it, you might want to just wait until something goes on sale if it's not already on sale. And resource available to help you with the products. Topaz itself has a website and a YouTube channel that's very helpful in using the programs. And then on YouTube itself, The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly, he's really into the Topaz products. So he's always got videos coming out on the updates and comparisons. And then Anthony Morganti and Jim Nix as well are also been reviewing the Topaz products and how to use them. So I'm going to go through a couple of examples. I'm going to do the individual gigapixel denoise and sharpen, and then the combined Photo AI. Let's see. Wasn't planning on starting there. Okay, so I'm going to use this photo as an example here. Pat and I were at Biltmore Estates a couple of years or so ago. And this is one of the photos I took. They have lovely gardens there. And I intentionally did this composition because I liked the lattice work behind the flower. Then I got it home and I was kind of zooming in on this and I thought, well, that's kind of cool as a photo itself. So what I did, and so this is actually showing the crop of what I thought would make a nice image. And you can see, based on the thumbnail here, just how small a part of that overall photo this happens to be. And I put it into Gigapixel AI, and this is the final image. And I got to get you people out of here. Hold on here. So this photo was upsized to basically 6,000 by 4,800 pixels. So if for whatever reason I wanted to make a large print out of this, it has the pixels available to do that. Now, Photoshop and Lightroom have image upscaling capabilities. And Beth, I know you use On1. I know On1 has upscaling capabilities. This you can go up to 6 times, and it's, I don't know, in my mind, it's pretty impressive to be able to take such a small part of one image and be able to blow it up to that extent. So I thought that was pretty cool use of gigapixel. And then denoise, just to make this shorter than, well, I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick here. So this is a photo I took earlier this year. We were in San Antonio along the Riverwalk, and there were 2 street musicians there, and took a couple of photos of them. And all these things are in the way here. What? Excuse me. Drag this stuff out of here. Okay, this is ISO 6400 photo. And, you know, at this scale, it looks pretty good, to be honest with you. But if you zoom in, there's noise in the photo, which is not unexpected. So I sent it over to Topaz Denoise, and this is what I got back from it. And you could see it's not only is the noise cleaned up, but the sharpness of the photo is pretty much what was there and available, if you will. So it does a pretty remarkable job. And many of you are probably already aware of this. If you use your typical post-processing application to denoise a photo, it might be able to do a similar job denoising, but you also end up blurring out a lot of the details of the photo. And what's nice about Topaz Denoise is it does a really good job, I think, of maintaining the detail of the photo while eliminating the noise. So Brian was asking us before how the photo walk went in Somerset last weekend. And I know Suzanne was aware of this. At one point, I accidentally jogged the ISO control on my camera, which is a dial on the top of my camera that normally I keep locked. But for whatever reason, it was unlocked and it decided to switch. And it switched for, oh, excuse me, this photo, it went to 25,600 ISO. Now, this was not a photo that's necessarily a keeper for me, but you can see there's an awful lot of noise there. So I thought, well, I've never taken a shot at this high of an ISO. I wonder how denoise would do on it. So I sent it through the other day and it cleaned it up. Now, to be honest, I talked about maintaining detail. Whether and of course, so because the high ISO in the light, my camera, the shutter speed went down to 1/8,000th of a second. So I don't think there was any camera shake involved here in this case. But I would, if I was simply taking the photo of this building with a more regular ISO setting, I would have expected to be more detail available in the siding and in the roofing that just isn't there. So in this case, although if I wanted this photo salvaged, it did a decent job of doing it. I think the detail probably could have been a little bit better than that, but it's still remarkable that it was able to clean up the noise from the photo. The other way again. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 examples here. And I've showed this photo previously before. This is my oldest grandson Colin out in our backyard. And thought it was kind of nice. But if you look, it's soft, very, 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 very soft. So I sent this one through Topaz Sharpen, and that's what I got out of it. So this is where I've mentioned previously that it can salvage a photo that you might have tossed previously. And then the other example of that, this is a trumpeter swan out at Mammoth Park last year. And just looking at it there, that photo in my mind is pretty good, but if you zoom in, it's not as sharp as you would like. And if you look at the wing, you can even see, even though it's ISO 200, it looks noisy. And maybe the original photo, maybe it was a little darker and I just happened to open up the shadows more than maybe I needed, but or wanted to. But so looking at it 100%, this photo needs some help. So in this case, I sent it through denoise, and it did a remarkable job on the wing feathers. I mean, they're really, really detailed there. And the neck and the eye of the bird and the whole bit. It's just, it's a little bit like night and day in my mind. So it did a great job of, if you will, fixing the photo for me. I think that's all I want to show on that. Okay, so we're going to go into Photo AI, to Topaz Photo AI. And one of the things it does, so this, first off, I got to tell you, this is Jim and Pat Murphy. We just celebrated last week our 50th wedding anniversary. So this photo is a scan of one of our original wedding photos, and get you out of the way again. So this is 1276 by 1799. And if I zoom in, whoops, I was zoomed in, such low. So the photo is not tremendously bad, but if for whatever reason I wanted to blow up and maybe make an 8 by 10 or 11 by 14 or whatever photo, you can see this is not the best quality. So Topaz Photo AI has the ability to upscale, just like Gigapixel does, photos. But in addition to that, it has the capability to enhance faces. It looks for faces in the photo and says, oh, I can really improve those faces. So sent this photo through Topaz Photo AI, and that's what I got back. And this is blown up a little bit more than what that is. So that's at 300. I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. So there's handsome me, the younger age, or younger man's clothes, I guess they say. And there's Pat. So it made an old low resolution scan photo available for a decent sized print, if you will. So that was pretty cool. And here's another photo. For a second, I'm gonna go back. Okay, so I took this photo last summer. Our neighbor had sunflowers, and this stalk was like 12 feet high or something. And I was too lazy to go get a telephoto lens, so I took this at 50 millimeter. And I mean, the original photo was okay, but what I really wanted to do was to get this quartered photo of the sunflower. And you can see what I wanted here. All that was left was 712 by 1068 pixels, which is not a whole lot of the image. So sent it to Topaz Photo AI for enlargement. And that's what I ended up with. In this case, it's 2800 by 4200, but I could have made it even larger than that if I would want to. And again, it's able to go ahead and fill in pixels, if you will, using its AI technology. So those are the results. Let me Let's see, hold on for a second. This one's a combination. We'll do this one here, I guess. Okay, so you've got an image in your post-processing software and you want to send it over to Topaz Photo AI. So you'll do something similar to this. It's image and you'll have an edit with at some point. And these are your plugins that are available. I'm going to go down to Topaz Photo AI. It's, in this case, it was starting with my raw file, and it's going to make a TIFF to send over to Topaz Photo AI. And it takes a while for Capture One to generate the TIFF. And then Photo AI will open up. And it just, you can kind of just move this square around to select an area that you want to look at. And down here, you can kind of see it's going through its thing, upgrading the photo. But so it, from a sharpening standpoint, it picks out what it thinks is the subject of your photo and masks it for you. And it sharpens it as opposed to the entire photo. The denoise will be done on the entire photo, but although I haven't done it, I believe you can mask in or out subjects if for some reason you don't want the denoise to be throughout the photo. So in my case, I'm an autopilot here. And by the way, see this, it says update available. I think I upgraded this one just a few days ago. So God knows what's in the new update, but like I say, they're coming out on a weekly basis. So in this case, it detected the subject. It noticed it was soft and it sharpened it. It decided it didn't really need any denoising to take place. But if I do the scroll here with the windows, so there's the before and there's the after. What I see down in the wing area, to me, appears to be noise, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead, and I haven't really played with this one before, so I don't know what it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and click the button over here to say, hey, you know what? I think the photo needs some denoise. So if I look down here in the lower left corner, it's going through the photo and doing its noise routine. And now it's resharpening the photo. And it's taking its good old time to sharpen it. You certainly don't want to go through this process with every photo you take out of a shoot, because as you can see, that it is a certain amount of time consumption. Okay, so it's generated the preview. And there's the before, and there's the after. Now you can see it did clean up the wing feathers, similar to the version that I took through earlier, previously, using the Topaz Sharpen AI. So in this case, the autopilot, for whatever reason, didn't think that the noise, at least that I saw in the wings, was necessary for it to remove. So I had to tell it to do it manually. And there are adjustments here on strength and detail. This was a normal noise. If it was really, really noisy, there's a strong noise removal mode that you can put in. In the sharpen, if there were faces in this, it will recover the faces, as we talked about previously for the gigapixel. And if this photo had been low resolution, the autopilot feature would have picked up on the low resolution and did an automatic upscale. In an automatic mode, it takes it up to the equivalent of a 12 megapixel photo. And then if you want to go beyond that, you can manually set these adjustments down here to be able to do that. So long story short, I had been kind of using the individual Topaz apps, but I've since switched over and have been pretty much just using the Topaz Photo AI. And so far it hasn't disappointed. So any questions?
How
Yes.
long do they keep updating it, Jim? Is it like for a year or?
So you purchase it, you know what? I don't think there's like a subscription-based version of Topaz. I could be wrong. So to answer your question, I guess I got this license back late last year, so I'll be good for all the upgrades through close to the end of the year. And then, go ahead, Brian.
It's on mine. I just went in to look and see where mine was at, and mine have all expired. So to renew the update, it's $99.
Yeah.
Oh, they reduced, that's right. They reduced the fee if you're upgrading. I forgot about that. Thanks,
Yeah.
Brian.
So because I own all of them as you do, but like I said, mine are all expired. So if I wanted to update any of them at this point, I would have to pay $99.
For each one or for the whole set or?
I believe it's for the whole set when I looked at it.
That would be correct, Brian. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that they have, Topaz has like your Just 5. What other programs do they have besides A1? And is there a way you can get all of Topaz's software?
Well, right now, the answer, Margie, would be you can't get them all. You either buy the original 3 programs, Gigapixel AI, Sharpen AI, and Denoise AI are all, and I can go back to that slide. You buy them all individually, and they're in round numbers, they're $90 each. Or you can buy all 3 of them in a package.
Or 200 and some. But what I'm getting at, there are more software besides AI that Topaz puts out, correct?
Well, the
No.
only one that there is a video AI, but there is some, I think they have a mask AI. I have no idea what it's about, to be honest with you. But as far
Right.
as buying packages, so there's the separate prices now. And then these 3 together typically are $260, but they have been on sale for $200 compared to Photo AI, which is a separate program for $199.
And that's
Okay.
that is the current prices that I'm looking at right now on screen.
Well, I have Topaz at Just 5, and I can still use it, and I do use it. That's the reason it says besides the AI, do they have like the Just 5, the Just 6, 7, whatever? There's
No,
got to be more programs with Topaz than what you just showed.
If you go to Topaz's website and click on products, the only thing they show now is Denoise AI, Gigapixel AI, Sharpen AI, and Topaz Photo AI. That's the
Wow.
only products they're showing,
And
with the
video.
exception of Topaz Video AI as well.
So they got rid of the other, even though I'm able to use the Just 5.
You can use it because you own it. When you get something from Topaz, you buy it, you own it. If you want to upgrade it, you have to pay for the upgrades as they come along, or once a year with the $99.
So do you think it's going to be like Neo AI, where you buy it and then all of a sudden they go subscription only?
Well, Margie,
don't believe-
that would be, your guess is as good as anybody's.
'Cause
I
usually
don't
those
believe so,
people-
because they've been doing it this way for quite a while, where you have to buy it once a year at least. So it is a subscription, but it's a once a year subscription.
But you have to buy the the packages first before you can get the once a year subscription or
That-
total of 90 some dollars.
That is correct, from what I can see.
So that's like
So
$400.
Margie, just to be clear, if you were starting from scratch today,
Yes,
my suggestion to you is don't bother purchasing the standalone apps at this point. Just buy Photo AI for the $200 or wait for it to be on sale. I don't think at this point in time, if you don't already have the standalone apps, there's any need for you to get them in addition to the Photo AI.
okay.
I agree 100% with you, Jim.
And the Photo AI it won't have though the denoise and sharpening in it, will it?
Yeah,
Or did
well,
I
Yes.
overlook that?
yeah,
It
that's
does.
what that's what we were just looking at.
Okay, yeah, that's
So
the
this is
denoise.
Photo AI.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go up to the top here. Based on the image you feed it, it first detects, is there a subject? And in this case, it said, yes, the subject is the swan. It says, okay, does the subject need sharpening? And in this case, it said yes, and it sharpened the swan for me. In this particular photo, it didn't originally do noise removal, but I clicked here and it said, okay, I'll give you noise removal if that's what you want. And then you can adjust it accordingly. Here's the sharpening that it applied. And if for some reason you didn't like either it was not enough or too much sharpening, there's sliders here for you to adjust it. And in this case, you can see here, it says subject only. If for some reason you wanted it to sharpen everything in your photo, you can click that button and it'll go ahead and attempt to apply the sharpening to everything in the photo.
Okay.
So getting back to your question, yes, and then, I'm sorry, last but not least, if you want to upscale the image, you can set whatever upscale ratio you would like.
Right.
So it from a functional standpoint, it does everything that the 3 standalone programs do. The controls are a little bit simpler in this combined Topaz Photo AI. You'll see more controls available and submodels available, if you will, in the other programs. But it's obvious based on the software updates that Topaz is throwing all the technology into this Topaz Photo AI and just leaving those 3 standalone at their current level of technology.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Archie, are you referring to like JPEG to RAW and Topaz Studio, etc.?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Jim, I noticed when it picked the subject, sorry, that's my parrot screaming in the background. But when it picked the subject, it also picked part of the log.
Yeah, I noticed that when I highlighted it. And
there's some way to get rid of that?
there is, see this refine here? And in fact, when I originally did this photo, I would have gone ahead, and again, I didn't do it in Photo AI, I did it in Sharpen AI, but it probably did the same thing, I imagine. You can go down here and here's a subtract brush, and you can just basically select different areas and subtract away the pixels that you don't want actually sharpened in the photo. Or if for some reason it missed a portion of the swan, you can go ahead and let's say that's the Swan, you can add things to it as well.
Yeah,
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks nice. Looks like a good program.
Anything else or anybody other questions?
What, what about the program, the other Topaz, we're getting back to the other Topaz programs, and they have like the HDR and everything else in there. So they got rid of all of that.
I can't speak to that, Margie. I didn't use those other programs.
So, Margie, maybe you're combining in your mind Topaz and Silver Effects Pro
No,
and the Nick software that had HDR. I don't
No.
believe Topaz ever had HDR.
they actually, I just watched several videos on YouTube about Topaz a couple of weeks ago, and it actually showed you the different HDR and et cetera on there. So I don't know what date the YouTube program was. And that's the reason I thought there was other modulars or other type of software that went with Topaz, because I know that I had the S5 and I thought, well, I need to get that one and that one too, but it was an AI.
Yeah,
And
if
so-
you go to Topaz Labs right now, the only thing they show is the AI stuff.
Yeah,
Margie, you're referring to the other 4 pieces of software that they had?
yeah, there
It
were,
takes a
there were
lot-
about 4 other pieces of software. I think it was 4 other pieces, something like that.
JPEG to RAW, there's a Topaz Studio, there's a Topaz Mask AI, and Topaz Adjust AI. So it looks like most of them have gone to AI, but the ones Jim discussing are the ones that were all incorporated into the photo AI.
Well, I do have it bookmarked in my U2. I'll have to take another look at it, and maybe I could send it to Jim or Brian and let you all see what I'm talking about. So. Thank you, Jim. I'm learning.
All right. Any other questions? And I'll stop sharing here.
You know, I use and like Topaz Sharpen. I don't know about Topaz AI, but Topaz Sharpened is effective on sharpening and takes care of a lot of noise issues. So I actually like that.
I do too.
Well, you know what, Dennis, since you mentioned that, I don't think I did. In the case of the standalone programs, denoise can also apply some sharpening.
Yeah,
And likewise, sharpening can also apply some denoise.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Carl.
Thank you,
ready?
Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
And happy
Thanks, Jim.
anniversary.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jim.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pat still looks good.
I'll pass that on to her, Dennis. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, Carl, did you come up with your last part of your tips and tricks,
I
or have you did?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'm going to try to put this on my screen. No promises. I'm not going to go through the video. Well, that didn't work. Wait a minute. Now I don't know what I did.
Well, we see your screen.
You can see the video on there?
Yep.
Oh, it's working. Okay. I bumped into this ancient photographer called Andreas Feininger, and he's one of the master photographers from Life magazine. And he has some really fascinating black and whites from back in the 50s. And what I discovered was that it was in some of his philosophy. And as you see in front of him, what is down here in the lower right-hand corner is really a view camera. And he has a little, maybe it's not plastic, but there's a little box full of sand. And he's found these relics from the beach. And what he's doing is planting them in the sand so they stand vertical. And he has a photograph that he's developed behind it that gives a background for his photographs. But what was most intriguing about the whole video was something to the effect that he believes the best way to take a photograph is to be at a distance from something and use a telephoto lens, which during the era of the 40s and 50s, when he was doing most of his photographs, was a pretty good job. Anyhow, I ended up with about 8 books of his, and his photography follows the whole way through. He's a very fascinating guy, and I highly recommend this video to anybody that's interested. And I will post that now if it works. That was my last piece. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Carl.
Can I have my screen back?
I can do that for you. Maybe.
What I just did
There it is.
Very good.
was I put down there, and I'm gonna look up when the videos were. And they were older videos, 11, 9, 4 years. And here's one at 3 months. Anyway, John Barclay, he does all of this wonderful, awesome work with Topaz, and that's all he uses. He absolutely, he represents Topaz. And that's the program that I was looking at on YouTube. And
Yeah, I did a search in Topaz. It looks like they used to have black and white, and they had a bunch of programs.
Yeah.
But looking, like I said, again, looking at their website as of this moment, the only thing they're showing on their website under products is the AI products that Jim just went over.
Yeah. And I'm trying to look at these creative techniques was 3 months ago. I would have to look at that again to see what he used, because that's 9 minutes long. But the other ones are older. They're 4 years, 9 years, 11 years, but the man is fantastic. His work is gorgeous. And he uses quite a few different software programs that are strictly Topaz.
Yep. I'd have to look. I would be willing to bet if I look on one of my older computers and started them back up, I have those programs. But all that's on this computer is the AI stuff at this point.
Yeah. I'm more interested in the older programs. I was hoping they would keep it.
Yep.
Although, the sharpening, like Dennis says, and the noise is really great with this. But I still want some of the older programs. If they got rid of them, that's really sad.
Hey, if you go to their website now, that the Topaz Photo AI is $199 with an unconditional 30-day refund guarantee. So you can give them $200 and try it for 30 days. If you don't want it, you get your money back.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That leaves us, I think, with everything, we have 10 minutes to go. Margie, do you want to critique a photo? We have time for probably one, or it's up to you guys, whatever you want to do.
It's up to everybody. Y'all want to critique one?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Right. Get down here, share screen. Share screen. Y'all see it?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know, most of the critiquing I looked today has been critiqued. We have a couple down here, I think 2 of them down here that have not been critiqued yet. Or we can go to, well, we had some critiques.
Just
We can
grab
go-
one, Margie, and go for it.
Okay. All right.
Doesn't have any horns.
You always start out with something you like about a photo. Then how you think you can improve it in your opinion.
One thing is the eyes are so focused. I mean, it's really good shot, which we try to achieve with human beings, but getting an animal, that's really, really nice kudos. So it's a nice sharp outline of the deer. So that's good.
I agree. That's one thing I really did like. And I mean, I don't see anything really, blown out around his eyes. You really got some good,
What about those gold things in the upper right-hand quadrant?
yeah,
What-
right
what
over
is-
here.
I find it a little distracting.
Yeah. I don't know
What do you
whose
think
photo
about
this is.
It's my photo. That's actually, it was taken late in the day and everything was in shadow, and that's the late day sun hitting just part of the woods behind it.
Hmm.
But I see your point.
Yeah, you could have just cloned that out,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
way. And that would have gave more focus up on the deer. Nice sharp photo.
Yeah.
And to catch him like that was even better.
Yeah, not in the crosshairs.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his ears are pointed up, so he was probably aware that you were there, Rob.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he was mesmerized by the big zoom lens I had on the camera. So.
probably so.
Yeah. What zoom lens did you have, Rob?
That's my new 100 to 400 RF lens.
Wow.
That's one of the pictures I took when I just got it and I started to play with it. And this picture actually was cropped significantly. And I did use AI to
Yeah.
upscale the pixels as well as sharpen it a hair, but not a lot. The sharpening wasn't as significant as the upscaling was.
Rob, I'm curious, why didn't you get to 100 to 500?
400. Yeah, 100, 500. Yeah.
It was, you mean the lens?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's what it was. There wasn't a 100 to 500, was there?
I don't know when you got it, but there is now.
No, when I got that, the 100 to 4, it's the F5.6. It's not the 2.8 or the 4 they have out.
Yeah. You need that 100 to 300 f2.8.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I wanted the 400. I didn't want to pay for the 2.8. So I didn't think that was really worth it.
Well, Rob, I really like your decision on how you cropped the photo and the way the deer kind of comes out. It's kind of like a headshot of the deer, if you will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I like that too. I do. In the catch light, at that kind of a distance, that made it very good too.
How far were you away, Rob? Can you remember?
Probably about 40, probably about 100 feet, something like that.
Oh, you were close.
Yeah, I was taking from my backyard. I was on my porch, and we have a lot of deer and a lot behind our house. And they come out every night, and they're actually pretty docile because they're used to being out there, and they don't really rattle when you open up the door and stuff because they've been there so many times.
Okay.
Very nice, Rob.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, that's 5 more. We can probably do one more. real quick. Okay, we did all of those. Really, if everybody would put who they are in here.
That's me again. So if you don't want to do another one of mine, that's fine. That was actually from the shoot at Marty's.
Okay, well, that's the next one we're gonna do.
Margie, I think we critiqued this one already.
Yeah, I
Did
think we
you?
did look at it.
Okay, well, then that would be something that I missed when y'all critiqued it. But there were some, and I know that Duck has been critiqued quite a bit. So we'll just go down here real quick and pull out one more. And that would be out of March. We critique that, we critique that. Oh, geez, we really have critiqued a lot of these, haven't we? Did we critique this one of Dennis's?
No,
Let's go to this one. I don't think we could take this one. This is Jim's, I'm sure, isn't it? Yeah. I like a lot of Jim's photography lately because they've got a little bit of an emotional attachment to it, moodiness. And I can just imagine sitting at this desk, looking out and having all these bars on, you know, where you can't get out. It just hits me when I see this, the people having to sit there at that desk and knowing they cannot go out, no freedom. And that red chair just, you know, really stands out. The memory.
Jim, did you
must
try
have
this in black
happened
and white to see how it compared?
I did, and the reason I did the color is exactly what Margie said, the red chair.
Yeah. I like it in color.
Hmm.
I really do.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jim. I think you need the red chair because if that chair was black and white, it would kind of blend in with everything and it wouldn't
I mean,
stand
there's
out.
nothing wrong with the black and white image, but it's just the red chair in my mind makes this photo.
Yeah, it makes it pop a little more. I agree.
Yeah.
Did
My
you
eye goes
see-
directly to the red chair and then it follows up. Something else I like about Jim's work that I do not see, and I think we need to do that, maybe a class on it or, you know, some talk on it, is the windows are not blown out. One of the things that bother me more than anything is a picture with blown out windows. And I know it's a technique to get a window that's not blown out, and it's not that easy to do. And we need to show that in one of our presentations, maybe next year. Jim almost always, well, Jim very seldom has a blown out window. You can actually see something going on the other side. So that's something else I like about this.
There's not much magic to it.
Jim,
Margie.
tell the truth. You just don't
you-
post the ones with the blown out windows,
You
right?
you meter for the window is what you do.
I'm sorry, what?
You
Yes, you
meter
do.
for the window.
Yes, you do. But it would be a good topic for somebody to show others who have blown out windows, because that just goes right through me every time I see a blown out window. That's, you know, I like telephone poles, so that's just my opinion. And Jim just really doesn't have that problem. And I love that. And like I said, more emotion. Jim's got emotion in his pictures lately. And I like that too.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
try this picture as a selective black and white.
Oh, I know.
Turn
what you
everything
mean.
else-
Yeah, I could do that.
Turn everything black and white, but leave your chair red.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I thought you didn't like that, Brian.
Well, I don't, but there's subjects for everything, and that's a good
That's right,
subject for
always a
that.
place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this.
I'm not a fan of selective black and white or selective color. It is actually
Yeah.
what it is. But
Right.
I think in this situation, this would
Might
be a really good option for that.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I
picture
like
is really almost black and white. The table is what
Right.
kind of draws your eye away because the table has that kind of bronze tone to it, where everything
The
else is
tint to
kind of
it, yeah.
old gray. And and you're
That's
right, that
what-
would take that away and just leave the red there.
Yeah.
I'll
that'd be
try
great.
that.
Yeah, try it. I
You
think
know,
it looks neat.
one of the most famous versions of that is a movie, and it's Schindler's List. If you've ever seen it, it's a movie
Yes.
completely shot in
Awesome.
black and white,
Right.
Yes, it
but
is.
there's a red coat,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the only
Mm.
thing that's in color in that whole movie. And you know, yeah, I'm a fan of it when it's necessary.
yeah.
And I think here it would really work well.
I'd like to see it like that, in fact, because I think it would look really nice too. Although I really like the photo. Any way you look at it, I don't have anything negative to say about the photo. Y'all may, but it brings a lot of emotion out. It takes me into that scene.
I agree. I think it's a great photo. I just maybe Jim, if you decide to do that, post it that way too, so we can take a look at it.
I'll
Yeah.
As
post
well.
all three. Yeah, that'll be a fun exercise.
Yeah,
Okay.
keep
like
up the
the
good
fact-
way. Yeah,
I like the fact that everything, you can just tell everything has been sitting there forever. You know, you have all the debris on the table and on the chair and on the floor, and it hasn't been touched.
yeah.
I got to admit, the chair was touched.
Yeah, but that's what you
Well, you
did as
touched
a
it
prop.
very well.
Yes.
Those of you who were on that photo walk will know the chair when we got to the room elsewhere in the room. That we were allowed to move things around if we wanted. So yes, the chair was touched, but very carefully.
You
I
did a
did
good
not
job
add the
touching
brief
the
to
chair.
It looks good. And that's a prop. You know, we don't use very many props, and I would like to see more props that are placed in, certain areas. Yeah, it's a great one. And like I said, the blown out window, the window's not blown out, and that is just a big plus to me. So,
On the website of the Crescent State Prison, there's that building that was a TB sanatorium. Very interesting documentary of the building when it housed TB patients until this was converted to a prison. If you get a chance to see it, it's very informative and enlightening how he was treated in the 50s with, quote, fresh air, good food, and isolation.
and in isolation.
Someone had posted the link to that a while back, right before y'all went up there, and I watched that. It was like a half hour long or something.
Right. It's
really
very
good.
interesting. Yeah, they took people away from the community. Some young men couldn't graduate high school. They put them in the sanatorium with adults, and you ate together, breathed together, and kind of have activities together until you were cleared from the TB with 2 successive negative sputums.
Yep.
Mm. Okay, well, that'll be all that we're going to critique tonight, but
Thanks
keep up
for
the good work.
comments.
Okay.
Let me stop share.
Well, with that takes us a couple minutes over, so I think that that'll be it. Is anybody has anything they need to bring up or mention before we end the meeting?
Is May 31st good for our trip to Ohio? It's a
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yep. For me,
All right.
May
y'all need to
31st?
let
Yeah, May 31st.
31st, isn't
I
it?
think so.
Memorial Day?
No, it's a
No.
Wednesday. It's right after Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
I won't be here. I'll be on vacation.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just spent some money at Y&M, so I don't need to be there. So that's where I bought the lens.
That makes 2 of us.
Hey, y'all need to let Marty know if you are coming or not, because we're going to be combining people in her than, and if we don't have enough, then we'll be able to take my car, which of course Brian will be driving.
Mhm.
So,
Just remind me a week or two ahead or something,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I don't really plan very far out, because it usually gets messed up by somebody else.
Well, I have to plan.
yeah, I do too.
I try to.
Marty, you gonna let Annie know?
I already did.
Did you? Okay.
What are
Okay.
the pickup dates for Latrobe for the photos?
Tomorrow and
Yeah.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, tomorrow and Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Any
You're
special
welcome.
time?
10
10 to
and 4.
Yeah, they're
10 to
open at
4?
10.
Okay.
10 to 4. 10 to 4.
Rob, is the exhibit down?
No, it's still up. They're going to take it down because there's another show coming up,
Right.
a combination of Greensburg and Latrobe. So,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Did anybody sell anything?
I
I
talked to-
didn't hear of any.
No, I didn't hear anything. I spoke to Janet when I picked up mine, and there was no comment that something was sold.
All right. Marty, can you grab my photos for me?
Oh, sure.
I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome. Actually,
Thank
I'll have, you know what? I'll have Annie grab them because she's going tomorrow. I won't be
Okay.
able to go until later.
Yeah, that's fine.
hopefully.
There's no way for me to get down there either day. So
Yeah, no, that's no problem. We'll get them. One of
Okay.
us will pick them up.
thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, guys. If there's nothing else, let's go ahead and call it an evening, and then I can go home.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you,
Good
Jim,
night.
for
All
the
right.
presentation.
Jim, good job, Jim.
Yeah, good
Thanks,
job.
job,
guys.
Jim.
Thank you, Carl.
And happy
Thanks, Margie.
anniversary.
And Carl, thank you too.
50 years,
I know, it's hard to believe.
My
I don't know
like
how
the
gosh,
she did
birds,
it.
you know, the birds on the
me.
telephone pole.
All I can
Wow.
say is Pat must be a saint.
She
Yeah.
is.
Yes,
Has to be.
with angel wings.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness, yes.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
All right, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.